Today, we're talking Chiefs free agency. In this video, we're going to go over which moves we believe the Chiefs need to make this offseason to ensure that they get the never-before-seen third Super Bowl in a row. We're going to start with current Chiefs that we need to re-sign, move to the offensive side of the ball, hit the defensive side of the ball, then get you guys out of here. But first, let's talk about the mindset we need to have as a Chiefs fan going into free agency this offseason. NFL free agency. Such a stressful and scary time for 31 NFL teams. But for one team, the team that lies in the middle of the country, the team that has won back-to-back Super Bowls and 3 in the last 5 years, it's exciting. And who would have thought that free agency as a Chiefs fan 10 years ago would be exciting? Definitely not me. But free agency as a Chiefs fan is so good right now. Because when you have a young team that has won 2 Super Bowls in a row and the best quarterback in the world, you don't just frantically change things and panic during this time. You remain calm, cool, and collected. With that in mind, the Chiefs made their first big offseason move this week by moving on from veteran wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling, saving $12 million in the process, and along with that, they franchise tagged L'Jarius Sneed, making him a potential trade candidate or maybe a long-term contract still. We'll see. With that fresh in our minds, I think this is a good time to start talking about the free agents that we would like to see on KC. But we should probably mention the free agents that we would like to see back in KC first. Starting with Chris Jones, obviously he is the most important player on our defense. I think every single person in KC would love to have Chris Jones back on the team. And I think everybody in KC says pay this man whatever he wants because he is that worth it. Chris Jones has been a huge backbone to our defense in every Super Bowl run we've made, and he's always made massive plays. I just think he's the best player on our defense. And he is an essential part of the big three and a must-pay player. He is key. He is the must-pay this offseason. Between him, Kelsey, and Mahomes, those are the big three you think of when you think of KC. Chris Jones has to be back in Kansas City. This deal has to get done. Outside of Chris Jones, there's a few other notable players I would love to see back, although I don't want to get my hopes up. But the biggest on my list would be Drue Tranquill. I think he was a major aspect of our success on defense. He came in and filled in for Bolton. It was the perfect plug-and-play guy. He was a great leader on the field. He was a great entertainment on the field. I mean, everybody seemed to love the guy. He had a great time at the parade. He seems like he wants to be in KC. This is another one of those deals I feel like that has to get done. The final player on my KC must re-sign list would be Nick Allegretti. I just think it cannot be overstressed how important and how helpful he was during the playoffs when Tooney went down. He played fantastic in the playoff games, especially the Super Bowl. He was probably the best offensive lineman in the Super Bowl for KC, and he was playing hurt. This is one of those guys you could plug in and put anywhere on the line. He's a depth piece. He knows the offense. He's a veteran. I think if you could get him for pretty cheap, this is a guy you have to keep on the team. But let me know what you guys think. If I left anybody out that you think we should re-sign or that we have to re-sign, please comment below. I'm very curious to what you guys are thinking on this. Let's move on. All right, so let's get to what's personally the most exciting part of free agency for me, and that's thinking about potential wide receivers we could team up with the greatest quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to start with a couple obvious ones, and I think everybody would agree when I say they would love to see Mike Evans or Michael Pittman on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think these guys kind of go hand in hand. They're both similar wide receivers. Both can make huge catches down the field. Both are huge bodies. Both are secure catch guys. Both can play many different roles in this Chiefs offense, and I know Andy Reid would get the best out of both of them. They're also both insanely talented red zone threats, which was a huge issue for the Chiefs this last year. These are my 2 favorite wide receivers in free agency. However, they are both probably the 2 most expensive by a large margin for free agency. So let's get into the tier below. Starting with wide receiver, Marquise Brown. This is probably the most intriguing wide receiver on this list because his price is going to vary a little bit more than these other ones. I think he lands more so in between the 10 to 15 mil per year range, which if you can get him at that, I think it's a great find. He's pretty versatile of a wide receiver. He's got good route running. He's very fast. He's a great deep threat. I just think this is another great fit that Andy would do wonders with in KC. After Marquise, I got to go Gabe Davis. He's another huge vertical threat. He's big-bodied. He's got pretty good hands. He's not the best route runner, but I just think he would be another player that would fit really well in our system. He doesn't have to be the wide receiver 1. I think he's a great wide receiver 2 option, potentially a wide receiver 3 option. I just feel like he could spread the field. He's tall. He was playing with a guy who was already a great quarterback in Josh Allen, who has a great deep ball. I think him and Mahomes would instantly have a connection. This is another one of those guys. If we could get him around the 10 million and under mark, he is a perfect fit in KC. The final 2 free agent wide receivers on this list for me are going to be Darnell Mooney and Curtis Samuel. I think they both are kind of similar. Curtis Samuel to me is a little bit better. I think he's a better route runner and a better catcher and a better deep threat. But Mooney has the ability. He's younger. He's less injury prone. I think both could be very, very good in the Chiefs offense, especially Curtis Samuel. I think Andy Reid would just go crazy using that guy. But I think they could both fit as wide receiver 3s in our offense. It'd be very, very effective. And I'd be damn happy if I had one of those 2 guys as a wide receiver 3, even a wide receiver 2. And these are the last 2 on the tier list that are going to be the cheapest out of all these wide receivers. So if we got one of them as a wide receiver 2 or 3 for under 10 million, I'm not going to be mad. All right, so we're going to keep it on the offensive side a little bit longer, and we're going to talk about a couple offensive tackles that I kind of like. Starting with Jonah Williams, I think for the price, I know he's a right tackle, but if you could get him pretty cheap and you can convert either him or Jawan to left tackle, I think there's a lot of value there. There's a lot of promise there. Jonah Williams is probably around 10 mil a year, so also a great depth piece if we needed. That being said, I think the big name tackle, really the only massive name tackle in this free agency, is Tyron Smith. He's going to be pretty pricey. He's also got a lot of injury problems and he's older, but he's still one of the guys that I think if I got in KC, I wouldn't be upset about. I know Donovan Smith was a little older also, and he played pretty well for us. It kind of just depends if you can convert one of these guys to a left tackle. All right, the last 2 people I want to talk about on offense are both running backs. It's J.K. Dobbins and Austin Eckler. I think these are both great depth pieces. I think Austin Eckler is obviously the more exciting name. He's also going to be the more expensive name, but he's a great route runner. He's a great third down back if needed. He's a great running back if we need him to be one. He's also an amazing depth piece who's been relatively healthy in his career. Now, J.K. Dobbins is the one that you got to worry about health-wise, but he's going to be so much cheaper coming off of an injury. I think these are both guys that could be really explosive for our team, but also great pass catchers, and they could move the ball on third down if we needed to. So, good break guys for Pop Pacheco, good change of pace guys. 1-2 punch here with these 2 would be insane, either one of them. If there was any other offensive players you guys think I missed, please let me know below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. On the defensive side of the ball for free agency, things get a little different in KC. When you have the second best defense in the NFL throughout the entire season and a really young one at that, you look for the weakness in the defense. And in my opinion, the weakness in the Chiefs defense, although the stats might not show it, was pass rusher. Chris Jones got to the quarterback a lot. Karlaftis got to the quarterback a lot. Hell, even Amenahu and Dana got to the quarterback a lot. But a lot of this was scheming because Spags is such a great coordinator. So what you do is you look for some individual players who can make a huge difference. In my opinion, there's 2 main guys who can immediately make an impact on the Chiefs team, and the first one is Danielle Hunter. He's coming off of a career year. His price is going to be a little bit more hefty than most players, but he's a hell of a game wrecker. And I think that at DN, this is one thing we're kind of missing. I think Karlaftis is consistent, but we don't have that 15 to 20 sack guy on this team outside of Chris Jones. And if we team that up, I think that'd be a huge, huge improvement. The second guy in my mind would be Zadarius Smith. He's coming off of a down year, so I think we can get him quite a bit cheaper than what he would be worth. Maybe around half the price of Danielle Hunter, and he did only have 5.5 sacks last year, but I just feel like in this defense, he would make a massive improvement to his last year's stats. Also, he would just help develop the younger players. I think this is a good veteran signing. The final pass rusher on my list would be former Jet outside linebacker Bryce Huff. He had 10 sacks last year, as well as a lot of tackles. And I think this is kind of a guy you could play as linebacker and pass rusher. He's very versatile. He's a very good player. He's still really young. I think this is probably the most ideal fit of the 3 guys, just for the price range too, because you could probably get him under $10 million. Now, there is one more position I would like to keep an eye on at least, and if we could get one of these free agents, it would be a huge bonus, and that would be linebacker. It seems like Willie Gay won't be back on the team, so I would like to replace him, and the first person I would think about doing that with would be Azeez Al-Shaair from Tennessee. He was a monster last year. He had 163 total tackles, and I just personally think teaming him up with Nick Bolton would shore up our biggest weakness on defense last year, which was the run game. The second guy on this list follows the same pattern, and it's Jordan Brooks from Seattle. He was also a game wrecker when it comes to the run game. He had 111 total tackles, which is a little bit less than Al-Shaair, and he might be slightly more expensive, or they could be right around the same. It's going to be kind of tricky, but I think he's also a super intelligent player. He's a little bit more of a veteran. He's been around the game a little bit longer. He's been on a fantastic defense, and I just think he would also make a huge difference in the run-stopping game. If you think I missed anybody else on defense, please let me know. I kept it to really just 2 positions, but if you got some other ideas, I'd love to see them in the comments. Thank you guys for sticking around. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let us know. We're going to be doing a giveaway at 500 subs. We're at about 150 right now. Hopefully we can get there pretty quick. We can get you guys some, and then we can just keep doing some giveaways as we get bigger and bigger. If you want to know more about the Chiefs as well as other KC sports teams, we do daily shorts to keep you guys updated as well as weekly videos. So give us a like and subscribe if you guys like this video, and let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you soon. Peace.